I thought you had like something scandalous on there.
I turned on my 3DS and this page showed up. I'm like, oh,
Yeah. Sorry, I haven't used a Mac.
and I scrolled all the way over and I was like, oh.
I haven't used a Mac in forever,
It's
so
over here.
cool.
Nice.
So, hello,
Hello. Welcome.
Animation Club of Townsend. My name is Mitchelle Zheng, and I'm a 3D/2D journalist and storyteller. I currently work at Guest Productions. I'm assuming you know that because the website was pulled up. But yeah, I'm gonna just go through my animation journey and hopefully give some insight.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I got a lot, but here is a bullet point of speed run of my art journey so far. So yeah, I went to SVA. I'm from New York, so I went to SVA pre-college traditional animation course in high school. So it's like a little. It was like my. Oh, I want to like try out like animation class before I like dove into like art school, and it was good. But I decided to attend Raymond College of Art and Design, which is a 3D focused school in Florida. Yeah, and I attended that from, sorry, I need my water, 2019 to 2023. So I graduated with a major in computer animation, 3D specifically, but we did learn 2D, but 3D was the major, and a minor in film studies. And I finished with my solo thesis film, Lulu, and it's like a, I'll show you some of that, but it's like a 3D thesis film that we all have to do. My God, sorry, I'm out of breath. Yeah, and during my time at Ringling, I did some stuff at small commercial studios, so like I interned in it during my summer. And then outside of that, I volunteered at like conventions like SIGGRAPH. If you're not aware, it's like art convention for people that want to work in industry. So it's like different from Comic-Con. It's more like for people that want to be professionals in the industry.
Sort of Pixar made their killing.
Say that again?
Pixar, they did all their famous shorts. They started off at SIGGRAPH.
Yeah, no, SIGGRAPH, if you guys are aware of Lightbox, they have a lot of great panels. Like all the big studios usually are there too to like talk. It's really cool. But yeah, so that's some stuff I did while I was in school. And then out of college, I worked at a small commercial studio, a different one, but as a 3D generalist. So I'll explain more about what that role is. I feel like it's not the most clear as like animator or illustrator. It's a bit more generalized, but yeah, that's what I did out of college. And then in 2024, I mentored at DreamWorks Animation as a launch mentee as part of their launch program. So I did that for a bit, and I would say 3 months, I think. Yeah, it was a really great time. Loved it there. And the people there are great. And then after that, I freelanced both in 2D and 3D a bit as I job hunted for something a bit more stable. Yeah, and then I did some tests for Spindle Horse at that time. So if you guys know them, they do stuff like Hello Boss or Hazbin Hotel, but those are a bit different, but that stuff. Yeah, and then after that, I landed a full-time job at Guest Productions as a 3D/2D journalist for the marketing department. And yeah, I think that's also something that doesn't get, you don't get a lot of clarity on sometimes when you just look at stuff online. So I can explain a bit about that department and what I do specifically in there. And yeah, now what I do is I work on cool indie show productions and I freelance on stuff outside for fun because I just love working. Yeah, and I'll go back to this towards the end, but just some bullet points on what I hope to show you guys today as aspiring artists. Some guidance on your individual art journey in this very chaotic industry, because it's different for everyone. I would say mine is pretty unconventional. And then the differences between film/TV, so stuff like, you know, Pixar or Cartoon Network versus indie animation, which is more where I work at, but having some experience with DreamWorks and also having peers that work in that industry, I have seen a bit of both on like those worlds a bit. Yeah, explaining a bit more about what work you would do if you were ever to pursue a career as a generalist, 3D or 2D. And what's important for you for your career, it's different for everyone. If you want to like pursue art as a career, you know, there's a lot of different things that are important to people, like monetary stability, creative fulfillment, or work-life balance. And yeah, it's different for everyone, so yeah. Insight into some other pipelines that aren't necessarily art, but it's still an industry, such as production. because that's really important as well, and more of like a hidden thing when it comes to this industry. And the importance of branding yourself as an artist and networking, because it's very important, I think, in this industry. And it's sometimes not easily teachable necessarily in a school environment. So yeah, it's good to know. And then we'll come back to this and you can just fire away with any questions you have. But yeah, moving on, I'll show you some stuff on my work as I went from kind of like a student going into professional as an artist. But yeah, this was my thesis film from my senior year of college. So I did pre-production for my junior year, and then senior year was production. So that means it was just split up into stuff like junior year was a lot of storyboarding, viz dev, concepting, prepping stuff basically. And it was how you kind of stimulate a real life production, just like fast tracking it for college. And then thesis was, senior year was when it was production. So that was when everything you would more commonly see. So like animation, lighting, modeling, rigging, all that was senior year. And yeah, I did all that on my own, and that's just kind of like the curriculum at Ringling. They encourage you to be very just good at knowing things, I guess. Yeah, but there's just some still shots and my poster. It was a great learning experience. I learned a lot about the 3D pipeline, but it was definitely a very like military kind of thing, like you do it all, and yeah. But it's great, I learned a lot. And just some other stuff I did in college. I did a lot of 3D works, but I feel like, you know, to highlight some other important things I did because I'm also a 2D generalist, is like I was, my background before college, because I didn't do any 3D or animation, was I was a very traditional artist. So I did a lot of paintings, and yeah, that translated a lot to 3D, illustrative. But yeah, that translated into this stuff, which is kind of, this is a concept design I had to do for one of my VizDev classes. And yeah, you see this pretty commonly in productions where you get, you know, value studies, color studies, and then a more finalized, polished thing. I had some more studies, but this is just kind of generalizing it. And I just wanted to show this as an example of like, if you want to pursue 2D or 3D, it doesn't hurt to know a bit on the other end as well. You don't have to. You know, I know a lot of 3D artists that do not do 2D at all, and they excel at what they do, and vice versa. But from my career, I think it has been super useful for me to not like abandon my 2D roots and still like foster and grow that skill set as I kept learning 3D. It's just also I really enjoy learning, so I always was keeping up with just my skills and stuff like that. I think that's a lot of great artists, you just want to keep learning because it's just passion and it's nice to see yourself grow. Yeah. Oh, I was going to say, for this piece as well, it was really surprising because it was really beneficial to me after college a bit. I wasn't expecting it because it was a 2D thing, and I wasn't trying to be a like concept artist necessarily. It was just something I was like, I think it's good, I'll put it in my portfolio. But like, whenever I would talk to recruiters at like Skydance or other places, and it was related to 3D lighting, which is a 3D job, they will always point out like, wow, it was Disney. They will always be like, you're a really great 2D artist. Like you obviously understand like colors, values, and stuff like that. So, you know, I think it's a good example of like, you might have a skill in one department on the art spectrum that isn't necessarily what you're going to be hired to do, but it's like really beneficial that you know it, and it can put you above the competition of it, you know? Like, oh, I can paint and I can do 3D, so I can like visualize things. Just my example, but there's a lot of other ways, like 3D animators, like a lot of times they're also, not a lot, but some of them, they're also good at 2D. So they'll like do rough drawovers or like, you know, stuff like that, and it's really helpful. Yeah, some commercial studio work I did out of college. Yeah, FNAF.
Oh, I've seen this one.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
That was at my internship. I did that my junior year at my internship. It was for Fetty. It was the Funko Snap FNAF toys. So they're like these little like toys. And for the beginning, they had a commercial spot for it. And for the beginning part of the commercial, they had a Foley like 2-second like animation. So it was like fully animated. The rest of the commercial was like the actual toys and like you know, those toy commercials. But for the first second or two, they wanted like a full 3D thing to like kind of just grab the audience's attention and stuff like that. I wish I had the GIF, but it's on YouTube. Imagine he jumps out at you. He's like, ah, that's what I did. Yeah, I did the lighting and the animation and the comp for that. Yeah, so my other intern that I was friends with, he did the modeling. So yeah, it's like collaborative, and that was my first like, ooh, cool IP I did. Ooh, it's FNAF. Yeah, it was. But then I was like, yeah. But then my hometown friends were like, you're the FNAF person. I'm like, okay, well, I can grow past this. Yeah, it's a little iconic FNAF moment. But yeah, it's just like small things I did, like as I was. It was like small, like things I did. I can say was like industry experience. So you know, you do school stuff, which is like your thesis film or your concept art, but you really do want to show a bit more if you're able to, like grab, I guess like professional stuff you can put on your resume, like oh, I did this thing for my internship or other stuff, you know. But yeah, I did that, and then just some various other IP things, but it was a good learning experience. Some animating, some lighting. That's like the stuff I mainly did as I was learning.
Oh no.
Oh,
You have to grant permission.
Oh, I was
Me
supposed
or
to iPad for
this is
that.
like her own thing.
Oh.
1 second. I might have to reshare this video then, because there's a lot of videos on here.
No, videos.
Access to more.
Are they private on YouTube?
No, they're just on my Google Drive. Yeah, I'm gonna have
It's
to.
the master control program.
No access without authorization.
Has anybody seen Tron?
Oh, I have. I love that movie. It's really amazing.
The first movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
First
one with
I meant on the
late
ride,
David
but not seen
Warner.
the movie.
The one with the late David Warner in it.
Oh, he died?
Oh, yeah, David Warner died.
Oh, when did that happen?
I remember it was years ago, but yeah, David Warner who did the Loeb, yeah, he died. Yeah, David Warner who voiced the Loeb on previous way as well, and Nervo from Billy and Mandy, yes, he's dead now. Unfortunately, yes.
I'm just, yeah, wow, I'm like,
Yeah, he also, yeah.
Stop. Yadi, leave her be. Leave her be, Yadi.
What, it's just a smear frame. What's wrong with smear frames?
Somebody's weird thing, I like it. Just,
I mean, now you know.
no, because I could even curse because it's just the eyes, just big black holes.
Oh, I mean, I'm not the one who made her eyelids black. It's them. I'm just copying what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, she is very weird. Oh, the rare breeds.
Okay, we can do this two ways. I either have to log in here with my Google account, or we can go through each video, but it's a lot of videos. Do you mind if I disengage this for a second and just log in?
try logging into.
Oh yeah.
Do what you gotta do.
It'll be a lot easier.
Yeah, okay, you want me to turn
Oh,
that?
now it shows up.
Oh.
It's not gonna play.
Oh.
Stars!
Oh, you need
Is
to
it?
do
No, I have to log in because it's not gonna play.
Okay, I can turn off the screen.
Thank you.
It's funny because I have unmuted people saying it's
Alright.
the previous frame.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
There you go. There you
Thank
go.
you.
Okay, there you go.
Just give
Yes.
me 1 second. I'll log in.
I know it's gonna be late, so I didn't know.
What time is it?
It's almost 7.
Still probably 6.
Are these just like small storyboard clips that we're about to see?
A bit, but yeah, they're different things I did. So it was just like renders and other stuff like that.
Okay.
At least I know the stores one might be a bit up there.
How do you,
It's so funny.
sorry, how do you right click on a Mac again?
Okay, so use this, I think it's command and then click. Or maybe it's control and click.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so used to PCs.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's going on.
Like, it pretty much just works the same, it's just that they have this weird thing with the right click.
yeah, I my god.
You
Sorry.
could easily just get a mouse that has a right click and just put it into a
Yeah,
Mac
it's-
and still use.
I kind of despise Mac a bit. When it comes to working, I'm
Oh
such
my
a...
god, I hate Mac too!
Yeah, PC is a lot
Yeah, back
Team anti-Mac.
Go!
It's not really Mac's like, it's just I'm so used to the controls on PC, like the shortcuts. It's what I'm used to.
Yeah, because I've also been using PC my entire life.
It's just gonna lose it.
I will not
And I've
conform
only
to
ever-
art school.
Yeah, you have loop checks.
Okay.
And I've only ever used a Mac for my digital tools class.
Except
Back in the fall.
I used to like.
And it was,
Virgos.
I can say semi-hardly used.
What do you like, Virgos?
No.
No, okay,
But eventually.
Okay, I think I got one.
Oh wait, it's playing, guys, quiet down.
I'm on Twitter to see.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. I love Google Drive. But yeah, no, these are, to backtrack on where I was, I guess. Yeah, I did some freelancing stuff, after DreamWorks. So I did 2D and 3D freelance. So I did some freelancing for Lupin House, that I made a 3D rig, I did some animation. The whole shebang when it comes to 3D generalizing, so just like texturing, modeling, rigging, animating, all that stuff. It was for kind of like brand stuff. But yeah, it was a fun challenge. It was interesting. But yeah, and then I did a cleanup test for Spindle Horse, and yeah, they gave me a little stolus to do, and that was fun. But just a test, like it was just a test. But no, Spindle. The people at Spindle Horse, really nice. But yeah, this I think if you guys are ever interested in sticking to more than one avenue when it comes to animation in the industry, it doesn't hurt. If you want to like pick up 2D and 3D, you don't have to. But if you're interested in it, I think it's really fun. No. Yeah. So.
What'd you do?
I exited, sorry.
No, you're good.
Sorry, what did you do? You edited out and saved it.
No, I exited and now I can't undo it.
Oh, no.
What it's okay, it's fixable. I can just go like this.
Yeah, I can tell you a bit about Glitch, which is where I currently work at. If you're not familiar, some of Glitch's shows and IPs, we have, the current ones we have running are The Amazing Digital Circus by Gooseworks, Knights of Guinevere by Donna Terrace, and The Gaslight District by Part-Time Seagull. Yeah, they're all really cool and pretty different. I really like that about any animation. There's a lot of like creativity and uniqueness. Usually you're not stuck to one specific brand or style. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff with indie. Some stuff, well, we recently wrapped up Murder Drones. Recently? It was like last year. It feels recent. But yeah, Murder Drones by Liam got wrapped up. But I wanted to showcase that Murder Drones and stuff like Glitch specific things, so like Glitch In and Glitch X, which are just more events or like community stuff that we still do. We don't really forget like IPs or anything, like we still do things for Murder Drones. It's just more on the merch or promotional side, but it's always nice to like give something to the fans so they're not like starved. I think, yeah, recently we did the Murder Drones Animini's campaign, and I'll show you some of that because I was mainly doing a lot of promo stuff for that end. But yeah.
And you know, it's stuff like that motivates me because
Look at it. Look at this little goofy look.
Yeah, so for the Murder Drones Animini's Valentine's 2025 campaign, we wanted to do a animated short for the promotion of the little cool stuff the merch team did, which is little Animini's figurines. And usually they wouldn't go as far to do like a bit like longer for content for this stuff, but in this scenario it was we were building up the team more so we had more resources, and I was on the team, so I was, because I was an artist and like solely delegated to the marketing side of things. So that was like a big task campaign for me for a bit. And they don't need to pull people from production. You know, I can just fully focus on this and make sure it gets done on time by Valentine's, because, you know, you got deadlines and everything. But just a bit of example of like what a pipeline will look like when you're a generalist. It's not always the same, but for me, this is usually what I do at Glitch. You know, I'm a storyboardist, so I do rough boards, which are like, just to get the feel of like, this is the composition, this is like what probably could work. When you see it in a longer form animatic, it's makes more sense because you can see the full thing playing. It's a lot for timing, context, audio, edit, lots of that stuff. Once it gets more locked in, we go into polished boards, and that's when you can split things up into shots a bit better. And then stuff you can see like, it still looks kind of like the rough boards, but things are a bit more polished, obviously, and things like composition as well, like, you know, they get shrunken down a bit so we can see their full frame. Cameras might get changed a bit. You can see the 3D background we're using, so it makes more sense when we actually move into layout. I added the animation process for context, but that was by our animator, Derek. Derek did that, yeah. So he animated, and for this one, it was a lot just posing, but he did that in Maya, and then he brings it back to me, and then I do lighting. So then I light everything, render it out, and then once the renders get approved, at that stage, I pass it on to our comp artist, Ditzy, and then he polishes up and adds all those like final nice touches for final approval. And that's kind of a pipeline when we do longer form content. For smaller form content, it gets a bit more streamlined, but in that campaign, pretty much it.
So
Yeah.
it's a different team that's working on for the mini-series and not like the main series?
What do you mean by mini-series? Like the
Well, so
campaign?
what you just showed me was the shorts, you know?
Yes, so those would be more so on the
That is.
marketing side of things. So like stuff like that, promos, those are more on marketing and not on production. Because we want production, and this is like any big studio. Production needs all the resources to get those episodes done. So it's not worth it to like pull animators that have to work episodes on like a campaign. But it's nice when you have enough backing and resources to do those campaigns. They do very well, and it's great for the brand. But you know, you have to have enough resources to have those two different departments. What Glitch used to do was they would just pull from like the production team. So it's like, okay, well, we want to do this thing, but we don't have a marketing department, so we're just gonna pull some artists. But then, you know, it gets a bit bad with, well, it just gets tight with like resources, because you need people usually on full capacity for production, because those episodes take a lot of work. So that's why the marketing team is expanding, and then I got pulled in, because then they can just rely on me to do those things. So does that make sense?
Oh, yes, that answers my question, Jay.
Yeah, this is another example of like a different kind of production a promo for marketing. So instead of having this be a YouTube video that you would see on their, instead of having this be like a YouTube video, you would see on Glitch's channel. This was a animated billboard I did for Japan. So yeah, marketing I think can be really creatively interesting in that way, where you're not always just stuck doing one form of content. You can be doing, generally my day-to-day you do a lot of different things. They're similar in a lot of ways, but sometimes you get a really random out there thing. Like this was like a random, like, oh, we're doing a billboard, okay. And it was super fun. Like I did the boards, the lighting, and then Derek did the animation, and then, did I comp? No, Dizzy comped. Yeah, so similar pipeline again, just different context. So this is like for a billboard. It's going to be played for shorter, and yeah, just different things. But yeah, then there's a little banner I did. But just to show you some examples of what usually falls under the scope of marketing, it can be very broad. Yeah. Another part of marketing is thumbnails. Oh my god.
Hey, yo, Palm, you put the railgun down, please.
Yeah, so another part of marketing
Palm,
is
Palm,
thumbnails.
Palm,
So
drop it,
thumbnails are kind of just like, this is more specific for YouTube. It's I guess if you were to say thumbnails for like TV or something, that would be like poster art. Key art, poster art, stuff you would see like, oh, a great example, Garfield. When the Garfield movie came out, they had a lot of good marketing promo. You would see so many different variations of like posters and stuff like that around, great marketing campaign. But yeah, it's like similar to that, where it's like you want something eye-catching, something like almost like illustrated in a sense. That has to be very high rendered, because again, with thumbnails, usually you see on YouTube, and people scroll on YouTube, it's on their phones. You want to make sure it's like eye-catching enough where people will click on it, and it's also like you get the details on a small screen. So, you know, depending on the medium you're working in, Marketing, again, can be, you have to think about these different things because it's not always just going to be a plain video. But yeah, for this, I did the whole process. So posing, I followed my art director's lead, but after my art director, I would just, follow his brief, his lead, and pose the characters, bring it into for lighting, rendering, and then for this specific task, it requires usually a lot of extra comp, which is almost just like painting. You make it look very nice, so then people will catch it. Yeah, and these are for different purposes. Like the top one is for the episode 3 Digital Circus teaser, and the bottom one was for a marketing merch video. So different purposes, but you kind of get the gist based on like both of them, what you're kind of like the video's about almost. But yeah, important I think is what do you call it? Eye direction, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah. If you guys didn't watch Glitch X, it's a campaign we usually do. I guess I'll play this one, but it's a campaign we do to feature indie animation usually. So that's more like, again, it's like so. I feel like marketing can be so different based on like every single thing, but this is like an event. So like this is not like a billboard or anything. This is like an event. So I had to do the bumpers for each of the slots in between like the stuff we were featuring. So there would be like a 2 to 7 second bumper in between like the full length of the video. So imagine like Cartoon Network bumpers basically. Yeah, and I followed my art director and animation lead, and I did the process of, I'll play it through, layout. So it's like roughing it in. Doesn't look great, but it gets the process and timing through of like, okay, this is what it's gonna look like. Animation, so this is like polished animation. Everything looks, there's like overlap, there's better timing, the face is moving, everything feels nice for lighting. And then lighting, now it's all rendered, lighted, based on whatever style Glitch X was going for, which is just more of a neutral color palette. And the final comp, I usually pass to the comp artist. So he did this, but just for context, yeah, there's a lot that goes into the final product. So it's not always just like one-to-one, there's a lot of little steps. But yeah, the final thing, then that's a bumper that gets put into Glitch X. And we'll probably do that again this year.
Tommy looks like Mr. Money's sister.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, you're talking about, okay,
Yeah.
sorry, that was kind of out of context.
Oh, okay, so this is, sorry, not Digital Circus. This is supposed to say Murder Drones. Yeah, Murder Drones, social media stuff is also pretty important. Usually that falls under me when it comes to anything social media related. So this was a little, kind of like promo animation thing for the Animaniacs toys we have. It's just to like get people like know they exist, and also it's fun. It's fun for the fans, and yeah, so I do.
Hello.
Oh, that's
Hello.
Oh.
Your heart is.
Oh no.
Jeez. Okay, I'm gonna mute that because it's a lot of yapping. But yeah, I do the boards, and they're pretty rough because for this one, it's just kind of like getting the feel of the timing and the general posing. I don't need to go super in depth or like key poses.
Hi.
Just getting the idea in there. Yeah. And it's a silly one. It's a silly little.
I remember watching this. Oh my.
Yeah, and then we go to animation, and I'll probably just play this at the same time because they're pretty similar. Animation and lighting. Yeah, it's same thing. It's just animating and then pulling
No,
into
it's
lighting.
she's always tweaking. That's her whole thing. She's the tweak master. She's always
But
tweaking.
yeah, it was a fun assignment for the Murder Drone stuff.
Look at her tweaking.
Can we see the finalized video with for the audio? Or,
Oh, the audio? Sure.
yeah.
She just yaps, Greg.
Nope, it's not that one. It's on this one.
Your heart is so cute. Bagel.
Oh, it's for
Please
Valentine's Day,
continue.
right.
If not, I will have to violently rip it out of your chest. Oh, it will be so delicious. The final thing you'll feel? Pain so consuming, your wish for nothingness. Have it?
Yeah, fun little piece for Sin.
Ask you a question.
What? Wow. Yeah, but you go at it.
It's something that,
Okay.
we have to.
So yeah, just miscellaneous like social media stuff I've done for the Digital Circus episode 3 campaign. Yeah, just to show some examples of like what is kind of involved when it comes to a marketing campaign. There's a lot that goes into it, but a big part of it sometimes is like social media. If you know like the Duolingo social media, they're always on top of it. They're very good at social media. But yeah, like it's different for each campaign because of like the context of the episode and also what we feel will best like, you know, interest the audience. But just some things. So like in this scenario, like I would just like pose, light, render, comp a lot of these just throughout the week. I would have different tasks for them and just, you know, put them out before the episode releases. Because it's nice. Oh, similar thing, yeah, promos for Gaslight District. This is a more recent one, but just to show some examples of like on the top right is my lighting and render. On the bottom right is the final comp. So there is a bit of a difference because the bottom comp is like super polished, painted over by the art director and comp lead. So everything is like polished. But like, yeah, sometimes, but versus the one on the left is just the render I did, and then that's fine to go out. It depends on like the magnitude of like, I guess how important the post is, but yeah, there's always a different, I feel like, direction with each task usually. Yeah, it varies. Oh yeah, if you guys are ever interested in pitching and you are, I guess, yeah, it's just some examples of like, you know, if you want to, I feel like I always encourage artists to pitch to where you work at, and it doesn't have to be marketing or anything, but if you have good ideas, I feel like it doesn't hurt to always just be like, hey, I think this might be a fun thing to do. I can do it. If here's a mock-up of like what I think could be good. Because for these posts, it was just me suggesting it. I was like, oh, I think this would be really fun, and I would love to do it. So da-da-da. And yeah, usually if your creative leads are pretty receptive to that stuff, they're more than happy to hear you out, see where your ideas are, and the production pipeline has some space. Totally, go for it. Yeah, and some stuff I want to just highlight outside of like work in studio. I really encourage artists to also just do your personal work. I think it's great to have stuff that you work at a studio. You can say like, oh, I worked on this film, I worked on this TV thing, da-da-da. But I feel like it's also great to show your own personal art, like as an artist. Like, what do you like doing when you have no restraint and you can do whatever you want? I did this just because I was really into Cult of Lamb. And I wanted to practice modeling and texturing, so I was like, this is like a project I can do outside work that I'm motivated to finish, because, you know, working and then working outside work can be tiring. And I was just like, yeah, I just want to practice my skills. And I really think like when you show you are passionate to do that stuff on top of other things, also work-life balance, but like it really does show like, oh, you're like really passionate about working in this industry, and you obviously have a voice as an artist, and you want da-da-da-da, you know, like the whole thing. Yeah, and that's a little thing I did at my internship. Yeah, and I will open the floor. It was a very long thing, but I will go back a bit and open the floor to any questions you guys have, because I would love to give you any advice if you're interested in working animation. It is a very, I feel like it can be a very scary field sometimes to go into if you're not prepared for it. So I always encourage people that are still in school to just like, literally this is your peak time to like learn as much as you can, because you don't have consequences. You don't have to have it as your job yet, you know? This is the time to build up all your skills before you have to fight for a job, basically. Yes.
My name's Jenna.
Hi.
Do you have a LinkedIn?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn. If you look up Mitchelle Zheng, Z-H-E-N-G, I'm on LinkedIn. You can connect. But I will say sometimes I'm not the most active because it gets busy. But I'll get to it. Yeah.
So, I'll let you go. So for the billboards, do they accept like a separate file format, or do they just take MP4s or something like that?
It depends. It really, that stuff I wouldn't feel you will have to really worry about as an artist, because that's on production to hand you. When it came to that assignment, I didn't, it's not my job to find the specs or like all those like task briefs. That's production's job. Production is supposed to provide me, hey, Michelle, here is the brief for the task. You need to make a 1920 by 1080 movie file. Here's how long it has to be, da-da-da-da. They provide me all of that because that's their job. My job is just to do the art. And then if I have any questions or insight, I talk to production or my creative lead, like, hey, you didn't give me the aspect ratio. I need that, please. And then it's a symbiotic thing. You go back and forth a lot.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you have any programs that you would recommend for 3D modeling?
Yes. Modeling specifically, or just the pipeline? I can give you the whole pipeline.
Yeah, sure. If you're
Yeah, for sure. Programs. It's such a. There's a lot. It's always such a like. You have to learn a lot. There's the curve, the learning curve, right? And there's also the money.
Oh.
Programs are so expensive. But I will tell you the stuff I recommend, and then tell you the money part of it after. If you want to go into 3D, I feel like nowadays there's always a lot of good programs coming up, honestly. But the industry standard still is Maya. If you know Autodesk Maya, that's the industry standard. Pixar, Disney, Glitch, almost I feel like every big studio uses it. But I will be, they also usually though, like they have their own in studio software. So yeah, like Pixar, I forget which one. One of them uses like RenderMan. You can Google all this, it's all online. But yeah, they use their own like, because they have the money to, they have like tech people to build proprietary software. So they have stuff to make their own Maya better and like build upon it. So obviously that's not accessible to you. Actually, I think RenderMan might be open source now, so definitely look into it.
I remember like looking at their website a while back. You actually download the software.
Yeah, I think it's open source, so definitely look into it. But I will say, Maya, learn it. I will really recommend learning Maya or Blender. Maya is a subscription-based program that you have to pay for every month or yearly. It's pretty expensive, I'm not gonna lie. But if you're a student, you get a student discount. Or if you work through a company, your company will usually provide that for you. Like Glitch provides me my program, so I don't pay for them. And that's usually the standard for a studio. They'll be like, oh, we're gonna provide you the programs. And that's why I also really recommend, you know, if you're able to intern or whatever, learn those programs, because they'll give it to you. And it's like, oh, yes. But Maya is great. I really recommend learning it. Do the student, actually, if you're a student, they might give it to you for free. Look into it, I'm not sure. And then Blender is completely free. And I feel like a lot of people are using Blender now. It's still not. Yeah, Flow. Yeah, the cat movie. That was super revolutionary, I feel, with like, it's like fully in Blender. And it looked amazing and it swept awards. So I think Blender is making a lot of strides and it's such a, I think, great program. A lot of people at Glitch, I think, started with Blender and stuff like that. But I still do think you should, if you're able to, do some Maya, because it's still pretty much the industry standard, but Blender's really good. So if you're like, I really just can't spend the money, learn Blender. It's pretty adaptable. If you know Blender and you go to a studio and you're like, I don't know Maya, but I know Blender, it's gonna help, because they're like, okay, that's fine, we'll teach you, because it's like pretty adaptable. Yeah, and there's a bunch of tutorials online. That's the main one. This is gonna be a long answer, I'm sorry. That's the main one for, because in Maya you can do so much. You can do like, basically animation, pipeline, usually all is in Maya. If you want to get really good, you can model in Maya, but if you want to be like a sculptor specifically, like I just want to make like 3D sculpts that will never be used for rigging. I just want to make cool looking sculpts, ZBrush. ZBrush is the one to go for. That's also you have to pay for. And then there's probably some other free ones out there, but ZBrush is the standard usually. I think they have an iPad now too, so yeah. Lighting can be tricky. There's a lot of different render softwares out there. Maya comes with a render software. Arnold, that's pretty, if you want to just like have one thing, that's good. V-Ray is also good, but a lot of times you have to buy this as an extra thing. You should look into RenderMan, the proprietary software. Unreal Engine is free, and it has good lighting, and it's what we use at Glitch. So yeah, Unreal is cool for lighting. Anything else? Those are the big ones I feel. There's a lot you can look into if you're interested in like that. Compositing, I love Nuke. Nuke is a great one. And Nuke has a free commercial license. So Yeah, you can use it as long as you're not like using it to make money. And you're like, I'm just using it to learn. You can download a free version of Nuke, and like they'll let you. It's great practice. And then anything Adobe, I think is great. Even though it's like sucks, it's like subscription based, and you're like, oh, I have to spend so much money. You could though, you could. I suggest if you don't want to spend the money, split an Adobe account with your few friends and be like, let's all spend money on this, and we'll take turns. You can do that. Procreate. Procreate is great for illustrating. And then that's like the main thing on the 3D side. You can always like deep dive into like, there's a ton more out there. And then for 2D, I feel like the standard usually is Toon Boom. So Storyboard Pro, Toon Boom, TV Paint. I think those are the main ones. But yeah, there's probably more out there. I'm not as familiar with like all the 2D programs, but I feel like those are the ones I always see in production.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Could you spell the Maya?
M-A-Y-A. Wait, M-A-Y-A.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, if you want me, I can look at your list after. Yeah. Sorry, you before?
I had a question in regards when it comes to lighting for like, do you like emphasize like prioritizing like lighting of like foregrounds, like 3D models, like the characters in the foreground? I noticed that's kind of like what you would do like in like your work in progress.
In the work in progress? What example are you referring to?
I guess the most notable one was kind of like I guess like the one was like the Japanese like promo.
Oh, the Geigo Jackson Pomni, right?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, great question. I think when it comes to lighting, it changes depending on what you're serving the purpose of, you know? Like lighting is such I think if you have an artistic eye for it, you know, in the sense of lighting is such an invoking mood, you know? So it's like, for that billboard piece, it's like, oh, it has to one, fit the style for Digital Circus, which Digital Circus has a style. We have to make sure it feels in style with that. If it was super dark and grainy, that would just feel weird and off, kind of creepy. And then two, like, what is the mood for this, you know? And the mood for that one was like, oh, it's fun and silly. Jax and Pomni are having a little fun banter, and it should be also like bright and eye-catching for the audience. So I think your first purpose when it comes to lighting is always like, what mood am I trying to invoke, and atmosphere. And then based on that, I think it's great to look, if you're not comfortable or you're not sure still, look up reference, you know? Look for movies, look from TV shows, and then I think you have pinpoint more on like your focal point, you know? Your focal point usually is like, what are we trying to direct the audience to in a piece? Because lighting is supposed to enhance whatever the animation or the illustration is, you know? For one of the thumbnails I did, where it was like Pomni reaching out. It's like you want to focus on Pomni. That's like the main spotlight. So she was like very like brightly lit on the top. She had like rims on the top of her hat. She had more contrast. And then, you know, Ragatha and Jax are in the back, but they're still more like, they're a bit more muted out, or like there's less contrast. So it's always like you have to really look into focal point, values. A lot of it goes into it, but I think of it less as like a technical thing and more of like a directional thing. Like wherever you want to emphasize, that's where you should put your focus on, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah, and then I think looking at any illustrative other pieces are great examples because they all do that in different ways.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and would you also like say that that also like applies for like 2D arts or like animations as well?
I think so, yeah. I feel like it's always like eye direction. Eye direction is always something they like drill into you as an artist. At the end of the day, you're looking at it. So it's like when it comes to animation, when you're doing eye direction, animating, you know, you're like, where are we supposed to focus on the character? Something you learn in animation school is like, you don't want to over animate everything, you know? Unless I guess that's intentional. But like 9 times out of 10, like if you're animating everything at 100, where it's like, like it's so distract, like you can't, your eye doesn't even know where to go. You're like, oh my god, everything's moving. Usually you lead, so like with animation, and again, this is like focal points, eye direction. So like if Pomni is like talking or whatever, and she like, and it really is up to taste on like what the animator or the storyboard artist wants, but like if I was like an animated character and I was like, hi, like you follow my hand, and then my head leads, and like maybe my head like follows that. It's a very much like you lead the audience. I think that goes across the board. Storyboarding, animation, lighting. You just want to lead the audience to where the story is going. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get that. Like also like with the like making sure like you got like the like trying to like reduce the amount of frames or like how much is happening in like the same like scene at the same time. I think like when it comes to like, because I mainly just do like arts and animation purely out of passion.
Yeah.
So like, especially like if I'm doing things, if I want to like sit down and do it outside of like school or like doing like some housework and stuff like that, or even like a job and stuff like that. Like, I want to like make something where it seems like it makes sense of what's happening while also like making sure I'm not like exerting too much like energy into it, basically.
Yeah. Do you mean like putting too much effort in like one part of your piece and then not having the thing be like fully like done, or like evened out in quality?
I think that practically is what I'm trying to get across. I was just like kind of like adding on to like what you just said earlier. But yeah, that's basically what I'm saying.
I feel like the best way I've gone about it, and I feel like, because I've struggled with that as well, where in school, sometimes when I will work on one of my class assignments, I'd be like, let's say I have like a 120 frame animation class assignment, right? It's like a character doing things for 120 frames. I sometimes, when I was a student, I would be like, I'm gonna focus in chunks. I'm gonna make the first 20 frames so good. And the first 20 frames are so polished, so nice. The rest of it, I like burned out. I was like, oh, I don't have time, the deadline's coming up. And then the rest, it just looks really, I feel like worse sometimes, because it's like, wow, it looks so good. And then nosedives, because it's like, wow, where did the quality go? Yeah, it's a very common thing I feel with artists. The best way I feel to counteract that, obviously know your limits on like when you feel burned out, but also if you're working, and this is like normal in production as well, you don't want to work on like polishing something 1%. You want to make sure everything is moving at a good, even pace. So instead of working on that 20 frames, do the full 120 frames, but just make it like 20% good, you know? And then you can see that everything's getting better. You're like, okay, it's not polished, but this whole thing is like working, and then you build up on that. So you know, you slowly, so like when I showed you the example of the layout, it's like super watery. It's like not, the fingers aren't moving. It's just kind of like, but I'm like, okay, I see the finished product behind all this, and it's like the timing's working. You slowly chip away at it, and then as it's coming together, I feel like it motivates you to get across the finishing line. You're like, okay, I'm almost done. 20% work, and we're good.
I'm feeling it right now.
Yeah.
So would you say that simplicity and clarity is really key? You know, just try to see the finished product with animation and modeling.
I feel like simplicity, or I would just say clarity. Clarity is such a, I think, important thing in animation, and storytelling in general. But, you know, as an animator, I guess, any part of the pipeline really, but you're a storyteller. You're trying to communicate to the audience, and you do want to just eliminate any point of like, I guess, non-clarity.
Like
are you talking?
Yes, like anything like that's distracting.
Yeah, I guess. Are you talking about like animating specifically?
Like animation, advertising, marketing. Like you said, anything in the pipeline.
Yeah, I feel like clarity is good across the board. I feel like every time you get an art director giving you notes, I feel like clarity is always a big important one. It does change though, you know, depending on what the assignment is. But I feel like if you have a good sense of like the clarity, the points getting across, usually good. You're in the right direction, you know?
Yeah.
It's always good, I think, to ask for feedback. I think don't be afraid of like your director making you go the other way, because that's good. You want to know you're not diving off a cliff, you know, before it happens. Yeah. You know, I've gotten like feedback where they're like, like my director will push me one way, and this is just throughout my life. My director will push me this one way. I'm doing what they told me. Okay, and then they're like, oh, I kind of hate it. Go back the other way. Go back like 20 steps. I'm like, okay, let's go back. And that just happens. You just have to have a good attitude about it, and it's just the pipeline, you know? Yes.
I have marketing ideas of my own. How do you suggest I pitch them and get them out to businesses?
Yeah, so pitching I think is it's art form for sure. And I feel like it's a very, not popular, but I feel like definitely because of indie animation growing as an industry, and you know, social media, the internet, I feel like there's a lot of people pitching nowadays, which isn't bad, but it is the reality of like, you do have to compete with so much content. There's a lot of people out there that are like, I make this thing, I want this, there's so much content. And I think pitching though, at the end of the day, it's like, you really should know your voice on like, okay, this is the thing I'm pitching, this is my artistic direction on it, and then also knowing the audience. Like if you're gonna pitch something and it's more than just like a personal project to throw into the ether, right? And you wanna actually get, I guess another thing is like, what is your goal with like pitching something? Is it just like, this is my passion project, I don't care if like no one sees it, I'm gonna throw it in the air, I'm just glad I did it, and I learned something? Or is it like, I want this show, I made this pitch for a show and I want it to be picked up so bad, it's my baby. If, you know, it just depends on what your goals are, and then once you're more aware of that, I would say if you're more in the, I want this thing to be picked up, there's a lot that goes into it, but like, I think a big thing is know your artistic direction. Having an art Bible never hurts, as in like, this is everything of my story, blah, blah, blah. Getting feedback from people you trust. So people you trust as in like, you know they have good art direction. They're gonna tell you like good constructive feedback, and they won't mince words. So they'll just be like, yeah, I think you should fix like 25% of that. It's like, okay. And knowing the audience, like sometimes you have a very niche project that's like super, like you're super into it, but you also have to, I think, be aware sometimes. If you want it to be like something picked up, is anyone else gonna be interested in this? Just a little bit. Like I would say with the stuff at Glitch, you know, like the audiences for Digital Circus, Murder Drones, and Gaslight District, you can kind of tell their demographics a bit. They're all kind of different, but you can tell like the people that would be kind of into them, you know? Definitely more the young adult to teen, but like, yeah, I think being aware of that is really important. And it also just depends on what your pitch is. There's a lot, but also networking as well. Networking, social media, audience, very important all around. And then a million other things, but you can start from there.
Yeah, I'd like to wonder, what's the like general, on average, like what schedule at Glitch?
I'm sorry, the schedule at Glitch?
Yeah, like what's your like general work schedule at Glitch?
Oh, my day-to-day. Yeah, it's pretty different depending on, marketing can be pretty, just, you know, I like it because it's kind of like, ooh, I can do something different every day. With like someone, I would say that's like an animator on the pipeline, it's a bit more like, okay, I'm gonna go in, I wanna animate, gonna finish up this shot. For marketing, depends. Usually though, a lot of my tasks involve, I'm a generalist, I do like a bit of everything on the pipeline, but a lot of my stuff they really prefer me doing is storyboarding, to posing and lighting. I animate sometimes, but it just takes longer, and there's faster animators than me on the team, so usually they're like storyboard looks great, pass it on to someone else, I get it back later. It depends, but I think a lot of it is just like making art assets. You know, it's like, I think like the past week I've just been doing stuff for Gaslight District, and it's just like some of the stuff I showed you, just promo stuff of like lighting, rendering. It depends on the campaign. But yeah, I also I work remotely because Glitch, and I guess it's a Glitch specific thing. It's a hybrid studio, a very hybrid studio. Like some studios you see do have that like hybrid, some people work at home, but I would say Glitch is like one of the few studios I know, maybe Spindle Horse, but Glitch especially is very much like worldwide. Like they have their base in Australia, and like I would say half the team is there. But then the other half is basically internationally everywhere. It's just like, I really do appreciate they're very much like, oh, we're just gonna hire people that we find talented and like that will help us. And it doesn't matter where you're located. Again, not every studio is able to do that because of money, but you know, if you're able to, I think it's great. So yeah, it depends on, I think, where you work. But at Glitch, it's pretty nice. I clock in, I do my little art assets, I light, I render, storyboard sometimes. But yeah, it depends. Usually I work in chunks for campaigns. So, you know, like the Murder Drones one, I did that for like a month. You know, that's like just going through the whole thing, like back and forth, a few different shots. And then for the Japanese digital circus one, that was like 3 weeks. So it's like, you get like a long-term and short-term of tasks, if that makes sense. Which is normal for production if you're in marketing. Yeah, is that a hand?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, one of my friends and I wanna, like, yeah,
one of the friends.
hi, she's Fred. I wanna, so we have like a bunch of characters that we like made in like the past like couple years, and like we're wanting to like, wanna like do something with it, like animating or like just like comic or something. Like, do you have like anything like they could like probably suggest like where is a good place to like start on any of that?
Yeah, I feel like the fact that you guys have your own like not the best way to phrase it, OCs. But yeah, like your own little like characters that you're like passionate about. I think that's a great start already to be like, you know, I have this thing I'm passionate about and it's like I want to like make something out of it. I guess it's just like what do you want to do with it is up to you, you know?
Yeah.
You can do a lot of things. It's like, you can make an art Bible, you can do a pitch pilot. I would say it's like you have to balance two ends of like passion and practicality, you know? You want to make sure you're passionate about what you're doing, you like it, because at the end of the day, it's your passion project, you know?
Yeah.
But you also have to be practical of not burning yourself out, what workload you can handle.
Yeah.
If you want to bring it into like a production, because bringing your passion projects into productions is hard, I'm not gonna lie. Like, because I did my thesis film, I worked on indie projects before with freelancing, and it becomes also a thing of like understanding production of like, you have to manage people, or even if it's like 5 people, you have to like understand people's like schedules, someone has to make sure people are getting stuff done on time. You have to be able to get feedback and criticism without it becoming a personal thing. I think when you work with professionals though, that's never an issue. I feel like I never ran into someone that's like an artist working in the industry where they take it personally. And I feel like if you are an artist, you also have to be that way. Like sometimes people are gonna say a lot of criticism, but it's like constructive, you know, you just gotta roll with it. Yeah, I feel like if you have your personal project, you ultimately decide what you want to do with it. Is there like something you're like leaning towards? There's like endless possibilities, honestly.
I mean, like, what's the best way to
The first thing I
Kinda
want to start,
shy.
like we have like, cause we have like so much that is like so clearly show or like potential, cause like every single individual creator has their own story.
I
And like,
suggest,
you wanna know what's a good way to
yeah,
like,
I
show it off
suggest
to people.
making a biz dev packet. So you can look up, there's a lot of good artists out there. Like if you look up, or you can start maybe from a good TV show or movie you like and look into the biz dev artists that worked on it. Go to their portfolios. Usually all biz dev or concept artists that work in animation have their own little side projects outside of like the professional work. Like this is my concept project for this story. And it's basically like a whole page or packet almost of like concept art or with story about a story they have, with characters they have. And I feel like that's a great way to show off your storytelling ability, your art ability, and your like directorial and like world building. Like this is my biz dev packet for my pitch story, end of the world. And it's like here are the 5 main characters, here are the 5 stories, the 5 sets. Here's like what the protagonist goes, and it's really engaging for people to like go through it and be like, wow, this person has so many cool ideas. I feel like when people have pitched ideas for indie shows, it kind of goes along that route, yeah. If you want to make an art Bible, that's like, I feel like even more complex step. So like, biz dev packet, if you want to start, and if you want to develop it into an art Bible, even better. And there was a bunch of art Bibles that got leaked from Disney, I think like 2 years ago. If you want to use that as reference, like the Gravity Falls, Owl House, the pitch Bible, yeah, use that as reference. You know, look at it, see what they did, and be like, okay, I'm gonna kind of do what they did for my own project. And it's a great practice, and you learn a lot, for sure.
What patch did you say it was called again?
Huh?
Like the
A Vista packet or art Bible.
Gotcha.
So how do you, basically my question is, how do you kind of like maintain like a work-life balance in the animation industry?
Maintaining work-life balance?
Yeah, because it's like, because I know there's kind of like a kind of like a tipping, kind of like a seesaw of like monetary stability and like.
For sure. Yeah. It's difficult. I'm not gonna lie. I think I think if you're going to go into the industry, you know, you have to be equal parts optimistic and practical, because you know, the industry is pretty competitive, but so are all industries. You know, I feel like it's like at the end of the day, if you're like, for me, I was like, would I be happy doing art for a living and like fighting and clawing my way, or going to an office job and like doing numbers? I'd rather fight and claw, honestly. It really does depend on like, I think, your lifestyle and what you value. Because there is different levels of like where you want to be in the industry. You don't have to be like a full-time, I live off my art, I want to work in animation. You can like freelance, and then like also you can do it as like a freelance gig on the side with like another job. Work-life balance is really, I think, specific to the person.
Because then the other thing is, it's like this industry isn't like the only thing that I would want to do, because I also do want to write books in the future. So, because I'm thinking like, if I have even less time to dedicate to like, you know, animation, what's it gonna end up for me, right?
If I may say, I would probably say that if you want to go into both fields, I recommend doing the office stuff later in life.
Yeah.
When you have like.
That would be.
I think it depends on. I would go for what you are more passionate about at first. You know, I feel like if you have a love for art and a love for writing, I wouldn't really give up either. Fully, like I'm never gonna write again. You know, I would still like have, because at the end of the day, I think you should do what you enjoy. I would say like what has more availability to you to like break in, because you are a student, so it's like, okay, what has more opportunity for me right now where I can focus a bit more on, so I can like get my foot in the door. Because I would say both are a bit difficult to get in, to be like a full-time writer or a full-time artist. So it's what I think you're more passionate to pursue longer to get in, to start out. But at the end of the day, you know, you can be a writer for the first 5 years of your career and then pivot, you know, like, I think I'm good, I'm gonna go into animating for the next 5 years.
Yeah, it would probably be for like kind of like the money aspect, because you know, if say that my book kind of like becomes like a bestseller, it won't happen. Say that does, we don't have to. I become like J.K. Rowling without the transfer, like making bank, and then I can comfortably move into like the animation industry without like, you know, worrying about it.
For sure. I think do what I feel like you feel is smartest for you. Because at the end of the day, like, you know, art is passion, but you also have to live and, you know, be able to feed yourself. And I don't think you should give up like your means of living just to pursue art. You know, I think you should have a balance of like, I want to pursue art, but I also want to make sure I can pay rent and live and eat. So, you know, having that.
You can't make art if you're dead.
Having that balance, I think, it is difficult. I don't feel like I have a straightforward answer for that one. It just really depends on, I think, your lifestyle and your choices. But I do think, like, besides the like financial part of it, I think making time for not doing art sometimes is really good, because it just like refreshes you a bit. Like, I'm gonna go and just have fun and not think about art or writing for a few hours.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
So, in my case, I'm specializing in being an editor, so I feel like I'm completely irrelevant in this conversation.
I don't think so.
But, I do have a brother who is in high school right now. But what would you recommend to him if he really wants to, like, actually get started learning animation? Because he constantly gives me the excuse of, oh, I don't got the equipment, oh, I don't got this and that, and I'm just like, don't do it, please.
I feel like for that specific question, at the end of the day, I think the best way to like become a professional artist, you just gotta keep working at it. And it really, I don't think matters about what your setup is, what your, I guess like experience is. I really do think if you want to be an artist and you really keep working at it, especially if you're younger and you stick to it, like you'll get there. It might take longer, it might take faster. People have different levels of like speed to get there. But I don't think you're ever gonna get anywhere if you're not willing to just sit down and practice. Because at the end of the day, practicing is what gets anyone that's worked in the industry they've spent hours practicing. That's the end all be all. Because like if they don't have, let's say your brother doesn't have the program, paper, pencil, draw. Like you don't have to animate. Practice anatomy. Look at a movie on like whatever you have. Practice drawing that. See like the storyboards or like practice tracing the animation from like a book. Like there's so many ways I feel like you can like enhance your skills even if you don't have the tools for it necessarily yet. The tools obviously help and it's great to learn. And you know, if he doesn't have the programs, you can still watch tutorials, go on YouTube. There's so many free ones out there and be like, absorb it passively that way. You know, like, okay, this person is like doing Maya, I think there's so many free resources out there. And if you're willing to put it in, it's just a matter of hours. Like, you know the book that's like, you need to practice at something for like, I think 10K hours to be like a master at it. I think that applies for art, you know? It's like, if you put more time into something, you're gonna get better at it eventually.
Just do it.
You just vindicate, because my little brother, he has been on about like you have the right pencils in order to draw one. Like even like to the point where he got bummed out where he left a pencil here one time and he got like now we can't draw.
You haven't met him. He's a frequent member of this club, but he's not here at the moment.
Well, I think also it is difficult sometimes when you're a beginner artist and you have to get past that really difficult learning phase. It's difficult. You have to get past that phase of like you kind of hate everything you draw. You're not motivated to do it because you're like I suck. But at the end of the day, you really just have to have the drive to get past that. Because if you keep going, you'll get past the ugly phase. I got past my ugly phase early on in life, thank God. But like, everyone goes through it, you know? It's like, okay, I have my cringy art, and then you look back, you're like, I got so much better from like 5 years ago, because you stuck with it.
Here's the thing, the weird thing is he's actually a really good artist though. Like if you've seen his stuff, it's actually like really good, like almost professional level. Like he wants to be a comic artist. But like, I just think he's like, he doesn't dare draw the number 2 pencil. He has to have like the fancy pencils with like the sharpener at the end. And it's like, dude, you don't need that stuff. Like it's cool to have, but like you act like you can't. It's like essential, but it isn't. And you just vindicated that for me.
I mean, if it works for him, you know, it's whatever works for you. I don't really care what you use or what you prefer as long as you're doing it, so who cares?
First off, hi Michelle.
Hi.
My name is Hayden, or Haymaker, whichever you prefer to call me.
Sure.
As soon as I start talking, I always forget what I was going to say.
You're good.
That's why it's good to
Do you want like a
write down.
TLDR of my question, or you just want like...
Whatever you're comfortable with.
So, I've been following the makers of Glitch for a very long time, even before they started the studio with SMG4. And I've been kind of curious, you know, ever since when I first saw the announcement that there would be somebody from Glitch Productions coming to see our campus, I got really interested to know, because that's why I wanted to come here and say, what's it really like working with Kevin and Luke?
Nice. Yeah, I mean,
I know it's not really like the best question I have.
I mean, they're good. I like them. Like, yeah, like I work mainly with Luke, but no, they're great. I really like working with them. I really enjoy my job at Glitch. I mean, it's why I'm still like pumping out stuff there, because I like my job there. And I feel like they're really great creative heads. They really encourage creativity. I feel like you can see it through the company and the show. Like they're always pushing for like, oh, let's just make like something like we want to make because we have the finances to do it. Yeah, no, I really respect them. They're great. I didn't really know them before during the SMG4 phase, but it's always funny when like I see them doing that stuff. Yeah, I like working with them.
I really wish I could have come up with a better question, because that felt...
No, you're good. I wish I knew SMG4 more, because I wasn't really into that.
Same here,
phase.
honestly.
But no, they're great. I feel like they're really great creative and like company leaders, you know? They're really good at balancing both. It's hard sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, I have a curious question about the process that goes into creating the YouTube thumbnails. Like, do you render out the characters individually as PNGs without the background, or or do you put like a green screen behind them?
Great question. It depends. For that one, in general, depending on the complexity of it, I like to have my characters matted out. So matted or masked out, it's kind of the same thing. It's just when you have your characters, and this one applies to usually stuff like Pixar, Disney as well. You have your characters on a separate layer, so it's like, you know, you can light them all in one scene, whatever. But when you render out for comp, which is like compositing, it's really nice to have the characters on one layer, background on a separate layer, maybe certain props on a different layer depending if you're interacting with them. For that one, I have Pomni and the bag on one layer, Jax on a separate layer, Ragatha on a separate layer, background of the behind the window one layer, and then foreground of the burger shop on one layer. And that's just, it really helps it with like depth of field, so stuff like foreground, background. It's just easier to, you know, if I want to blur out more stuff in the back, I'll just go edit the background layer instead of like having to, you know, like pixel select stuff. It gets so messy when you have to do stuff that way. So yeah, I think masking out is a really great and clean way. And if you want to go into lighting and comping, it's pretty essential to know that stuff. Yeah, because you're gonna have to do it. It's like kind of always, yeah.
And then, so are you bringing that into Photoshop, or are you using like a different program?
It depends. For thumbnailing, I like to use Photoshop. Yeah, I like to use Photoshop because I think it has a lot of good software in it I like. Sometimes when I pass it to the comp people, he likes to use After Effects and Photoshop. It depends, but yeah, both are good. I think if you want to become a comped artist, like After Effects is actually pretty important, I think. I like Photoshop, but I don't do like a lot of comping. I do thumbnail stuff, and for me that's like painting. Photoshop is great for painting. If you want to be like a comp artist, After Effects. You can do so much in there.
Okay, interesting. I was curious if you guys were like actually painting on the lighting, like.
Well, it's like we have in-engine lighting. It's just you add an extra touch on top. So I'm not painting all the lights. That'd be crazy. No, it's like in-engine, but it's like the comping is like that cleanup process of like adding extra glow, shadows where it's needed, maybe like cleaning up some wonkiness with renders, you know?
Okay, that's fascinating.
Yeah. It's definitely a mix of 3D and 2D sometimes.
So, you did mention earlier that it's not entirely relevant that I'm an editor. I am kind of aware that, like, After Effects, you would be using that in order to do some composition editing here and there. But I am just curious, and you can enlighten me more about this. Like, exactly what would an editor? What would an editor be doing?
Oh, I would say I disagree. I think editing is very important. Editors are so important. We have editors at Glitch. I feel like at every production studio you have editors because we need them to edit the final thing. Yeah, I feel like editors are at the tail end of the pipeline. You know, I'm sure you know because you do that stuff. Yeah, and I'm not as super familiar because like by that point I'm kind of like out of the pipeline. You know, I handle the comp and editing kind of go more hand in hand than I do with them. But as an editor, I feel like, are you asking specifically what you would do in a pipeline?
Yeah.
I don't feel like I can give the best answer for that, but from what I know, you know, you would do stuff like, if it's stuff early on, you'll be editing, I will give you my storyboards, and you would edit together the scratch audio. So the scratch audio is like, you know, temp audio that the creative leads would give you, and then you will be the person to like edit that to my storyboards to be, no, you would edit the audio before and then give it to me to work on. Stuff when it comes to like speed, everything's just like polished so that I can use that audio and be like, okay, I'm working out the storyboards for this audio. So timing is really important to me to have good audio for that. And then you'll be at the tail end too. So when it comes to editing together stuff visually and auditorially. So, you know, like for Glitch X, when we had the campaign, we had a lot of different indie animation features. So you most likely will be like the one receiving the assets, you know? They'll be like, hey, this studio gave us this pilot. here, take this audio, edit out these certain sections, so then like, and then like put it together in a fun way. Editing is also a very stylistic thing, you know? At Glitch, we like edits that are very like fun and bombastic and kind of like internet-y, if that makes sense, like YouTube editing kind of sometimes.
I'm aware.
Yeah, that's different from like, let's say like live action, you know? It's like style as an editor I think is important.
Live action is a lot more minimalistic, while like something on YouTube is like
A bit more
jumping out at you. I know.
Go. Yeah.
I've done both styles. It's
Yeah, so I feel like style is important when you're an editor, and that's just preference, like what you want to do. Maybe variety is good, or you have like, this is my style, do this. But I feel like that's all I really understand about that process. But I feel like if you want to know more about editing, just look into the credits of people and be like, let me look at your reel, let me see what you did. That's what I always do. If I want resources, I look at like stuff I love, like movies or things. I go to the credits, and I'm like, time to find everyone's portfolios.
I feel like something with editing, like they're kind of like the drummer. It's very silent. You won't know it's there until it's really bad, and then it's just like. Oh.
Yeah, good editing you probably shouldn't notice too much.
Yeah.
Unless you're like, it's like Easy Rider where they like put it in, like in your face. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So pretty much, are you just in charge of the whole marketing campaign for Glitch, or?
At Glitch, I'm the main artist for the marketing team. We actually got a new senior lead recently. If you guys know Dude Lee on YouTube.
Oh, I know him.
Yeah, he joined recently. So
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, he's
his community tab.
He's great, super nice guy. He is my senior artist. Yeah. So it's like me and him do a lot of the art assets together for marketing, and then we also have like a comp and edit person.
Oh, dude.
But yeah, it's kind of like a mini pipeline for marketing.
Yeah.
That is a very familiar
Yeah.
name.
But yeah, if you're interested in marketing, I definitely suggest like following, like understanding really good marketing campaigns. Duolingo's great. Duolingo's great. They are like the king of marketing, because people, you don't want. I feel like the key to like good marketing is you want people to like it and not be annoyed at it. Because so many times you see people and they're like, I hate these stupid ads. Oh my god, that is not what you want. You want people to be like, I love these ads. And oh my god, they made this cool thing. Oh my god, this is this cool teaser.
I feel like that's what advertisements have been becoming.
I heard like
It's
someone had like
a
actual
mass-produced
malware.
thing, but then once there's actual
Yeah.
advertisements that have effort, like
It
I
can be
compare,
enjoyable.
I compare
give
it
a
to
damn.
how you've seen advertisements in the early 2000s.
Mhm.
They always look like that they had effort put into them. They always look unique. But if you ever look at advertisements on like a YouTube page, right, it's just always
It's a bunch of white noise.
poor acting.
There's definitely, I feel like, a good way to go about it. If it's like, I think, entertaining, it's just another form of entertainment for people, you know? It's like, look at this silly little ad for this thing. I like how funny or weird it is, you know? But yeah, there's definitely a art behind marketing.
Oh, for me, I feel like it's very rare that you experience a genuinely good ad.
Yeah, I guess.
Like when you're going on like YouTube or something like that, or Twitch, or
I think my
basically any kind
algorithm,
of social media.
I feel like my algorithm's good for me. I think I don't get too many ads that piss me off. I mean, I like cinematics and stuff, and I consider like cinematics a different form of like advertisement, you know? It just depends. But yeah.
So do you end up kind of picking or generating ideas just like, you know, it's been, or just going like, yeah, I noticed that there's still some advertisements promoting like products for Murdertrons, even though the series is finished, they're still coming out with like new products. Do you kind of pitch them and like, hey, it's been a while since we pitched something from this show, even though it's finished like a year ago. What if we did this?
That's more on like the art directors. So the art directors and like the people on the creative ideation. Because I don't know if other studios are as in depth. I think with this part of the pipeline, I think Glitch is really good about it. I feel like Pixar's been a little better about it recently with Win or Lose. They've been a lot better about marketing that show. But there's like there's an important part of the pipeline that's just creative ideation. So, you know, coming up with ideas. Because you want to have a campaign feel cohesive and not just be like, I don't know, we got to pump something out next week. Funny Fortnite dance, do that. That's what you don't want to do. Because people can tell, it's like, oh, what the hell is this?
How do you do, fellow kids?
So usually, you want a marketing campaign to be planned out ahead of time. Like months ahead. Like, okay, here's the campaign, here's like every deadline we have, and here's like every phase we have. And that's more of just like creative ideation, art direction. I'm more, me and David and like the comp artists, we're more like the executioners, So it's like they give us like the creative lead and direction of like, hey, execute this, do this, and we're the ones that bring the creative skills to it. I'm like, okay, you got it. How's this? Here's where you want it. And it's a bit of like symbioticness after that, but at the end of the day, I usually do take a lot of direction from my art director.
Yeah. So in your beginning, did you always think that you were gonna get into marketing? Were you trying to go to smaller businesses and go like, hey, can I try to market your business? And then throw some ideas out there and then get some money that way, or?
Yeah, I would say it's so funny. My art career has been unconventional, to say the least. I went to school being like, I feel like a lot of people, like I went to art, like an art-focused school. So my school was basically like people that went there are like, I want to work in animation and be at Disney and Pixar. And a lot of people that went to my school do end up there. But I feel like for when I was at school and graduating, it was a very turbulent time for animation as an industry. And I feel like it's still kind of, it's really up and down. But I think because of that, and also just my disposition, I'm a very I like to just do a lot of things. I like to learn and do a lot of things. And for when you're working in TV or film specific, so studios like Pixar, a lot of times you do end up being pigeonholed into things, which isn't bad. But if they're like, we want an animator specifically, so like you are an animator, you will never do anything but anime, and you are really good at it, and that's what we want for you to do for a contract. And I feel like I was always like swaying a bit in college of like, I really like lighting, maybe I should do that. Because I wasn't like bad at anything, but but then I always feel like I'm not like excelling at something either. So I was always like kind of going between different things a bit. Like I'm gonna do a lot of lighting. Okay, I miss concepting. I'm gonna do a lot of concepting. I miss storyboarding. So then I was always constantly doing things, and that just kind of naturally ended up me being more of a generalist. Where another part of it is I just like learning. So I'm always like trying new programs and like learning parts of the pipeline. Some people are very adamant about like, I will never do this part of the pipeline. Like I know animators that are like, I will never model. I hate modeling and I never want to touch it. That's totally fine. I'm comfortable with that. I'm like, oh, you want me to model a box? Okay, here you go. So I think it depends on what you are going to be fulfilled creatively doing and what you're comfortable doing. As part of my job, I feel like a lot of times they expect me to pick up stuff fast as a generalist. So they're like, hey Michelle, do you know how to like rig something? And I'm like, yeah, but like how complex? And it's like, okay, this is this. I'm like, I know 80% of that. Let me poke around a bit. I'll probably figure out the 20%. And then I figure out the 20%. So for my job as a journalist, sometimes it is just a lot of also learning on your feet. I think it also applies to other pipelines, but I think especially as a generalist, you have to kind of just be ready to be like, I'm gonna hop around a bit. And as a job, I just worked in commercial studios. Like, it's just what like got back to me, because you apply to like 100 different things. You just hope one gets back to you. I feel like I know so many artists from my class here, or like even now that are still in school. Like you apply to like 100+ jobs or internships, and you hear nothing. I mean, that's sometimes the reality of it. And for me, it worked out where like I think my skill set allowed me to work my way up in marketing studios, and that led me to Glitch, because they're like, at that time they were looking for someone very multifaceted, and they're like, I did everything. I'm like, I would love to work here. So it worked out. But I think the main part of it is also you have to put yourself out there. I think sometimes I don't think for art especially, you can ever expect something just landing in your lap. It's never gonna happen. You're gonna have to always be constantly putting yourself out there, updating your work, improving your reel. I think if you stagnate, that's when it becomes scary, I guess, as an artist, because you can get laid off, which is, yeah.
So as a generalist, what do you think is I guess, the hardest skill that you have to learn from a certain department on the pipeline?
It's different for every generalist. Like, I feel like generalists usually, you excel in a few parts, and then maybe like not so much other parts. For me specifically, I feel like I excel mainly at lighting and rendering, and like, cause that's like where I think I have the strong suit in, where it's like artistic eye. So that applies to lighting, rendering, illustrating. That's like stuff I really enjoy doing. And it also applies to comping and stuff. Where I feel like I can improve on is probably animation, but I think animating is such a, you really gotta practice animating to be good at it. So it's like, I can animate. Am I gonna be as good as someone who animates every single day? Probably not. I need to animate more to get there. And then like, I would say like my lead, Dooley, or David, he is like great at rigging and animating. And he's also great at lighting and stuff like that, but I think like, if you were to ask like what he's really good at, he's probably really good at those things. But it just depends on the person, you know, it's like, and then if you want to be a generalist, I will focus on the part of the pipeline you really enjoy the most. Because you want to do the thing you want to do the most. Because I love lighting. And like whenever my production leads are like, what do you want to do more, Michelle, this year? What do you want to like improve on? What do you want to work more on? I'm like, give me more lighting renders. I love lighting, I love rendering. So I think as a generalist, you do have a bit more of like a freedom to like pick what you want to do a bit. But at the same time, I don't get rusty on other stuff. You know, I'm like, remember how to animate, remember how to model. But it's nice because for me, it's fun to jump back in. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I feel like if you want to be a generalist, use generalists that are successful as your, I guess like point of reference of like, okay, what are they doing? I feel like not even generalists, any artists that are in a career that you want to be at eventually, like, that's my dream job, I want to do what they're doing. Follow their footsteps, see what they did. It might be different because the industry is always changing, but you know, like I used to, still do sometimes, if there's an artist, I'm like, wow, I really admire this person. I go to their LinkedIn, I looked at their art history, like where did they work at, what did they do, because like, you'd be surprised, some people have very different careers before they end up where you see them, and it's always interesting to see how they build up to there. A little stalking, you know, like, oh, let me see your art history, what did you work on? Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
And respectful, as long as you just like look at their stuff and not like stalking them.
Oh man,
But this is not so much a question, but I just, you know, since there's a cafe in Japan, you know, like, can you suggest it to the hire, just like, bring that over here. We would love that. Or maybe bring some partner with McDonald's, have like kids meal. We would love that.
I would love for them to do like a cafe or something here. I feel like if the audience is here, because like Japan loves the Digital Circus, and I feel like it's harder to do in America because America's so big, you know? Maybe though. I would love to.
They could do a pop-up shop just to test the waters. Like.
Yeah, they should. I know there might be a level up con, which is something. Because conventions are more pop. Yeah, it's on the Instagram. But yeah, they're going to be a level up con. I think some of the voice actors are going to be there. I think Michael Kovac and Pomni, I think? Yeah. Should be fun.
Or maybe a ghost kitchen, that's the thing, you know?
Yeah. I think it just depends on if it's worth the resources, you know? I think Japan loves Digital Circus. So it's like worth the money to put that stuff there because like you're going to make a profit. But America, it's like, people love Digital Circus, but like, America's huge, so it's like, how do we do this strategically, you know, without losing money? They'll do stuff, eventually.
Do Maryland and just Maryland.
This is probably going to be a more tragic question, or more saddening, depressing question. And more than likely Glitch would be against it too. This is more related to the use of generative AI. And what I would like to ask is, how do you think it could actually end up affecting the indie studios out there?
Yeah, it's a tragic question. Have you seen this stuff with oh my god, the Ghibli AI stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that recently. I was just like, this is disgusting. You know, I feel like AI is such a popular topic right now because of like it's always changing. It's always getting worse. But at the end of the day, it's like at least for indie, I would say. I think indie is pretty good about not incorporating AI, you know, because it's like I think
It's also the
indie
big
respects its roots of like we build ourselves up, and like indie is usually crowdfunded as well, and like you know people that are crowdfunding animation generally hate AI, so I think one it would be not aligned to the core value of like indie studios to use AI. That'd be weird. And just
If it makes you feel, oh, sorry.
and two, I think it would just not make sense financially, because like I feel like any indie studio that is like, I'm gonna start using AI for our stuff, they're gonna lose like half their audience or more, because like people that support animation generally hate AI, so it just doesn't make sense. When it comes to like larger studios that want to use AI, that's a different question, because they're like multi-billionaire companies, you know? And that's just something we're gonna have to see as we like get into law making, hopefully. It's a very, I think the best thing to do is just keep up with updates on like where things are going. I think there was a recent thing with like signing, not with animation, but I think with actors and writers, they signed something to like protest against it. So just keep up with like lawmaking, I think is really important when it comes to AI. Because at the end of the day, like all creatives, not even just animation, like really should support like laws against that stuff.
That's what I have been
It's just
thinking.
stealing content.
That's what I have been thinking as well. I'm just like, you know, like in the EU, they're straight up banning some uses of generative AI, especially if it's like misinformation. Japan, I know there's some laws against it, some laws for it, but again, it's entirely dependent on.
I think
the
also
use.
with Japan, I think just culturally, like, from a culture standpoint, they're like naturally against it.
Yeah.
And if it makes you feel any better, no matter how good it gets, there's always a tell.
Yeah.
No, the fingers they got figured out, but like it's like something deep rooted, like instinctually, like you can tell, like the computer.
The computer made
the
the
uncanny valley.
Well, it's more just that it's more subtle. Like I can't really explain it.
It's more out in the open.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you just gotta keep up with like the changing things with it. Hopefully, we'll get some laws pushed for it, but it's slow going for sure, I feel.
Especially for now.
Yeah, hopefully though, I feel like as long as creatives are pushing for it, we'll get somewhere. It just might take a minute, but we'll get there. Yeah. Any other questions?
Please don't end the questions like that, please.
That'll be fine.
Do you want a water?
I'm good. I drink my water. I will drink more later. I'm good, thank you.
I know we've held you for a while, so.
No, you're good. That was the reason I came. You're good.
No way.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, are you guys hoping to work in the animation industry after graduation? As like
Yeah, so like I'm currently involved in like several like groups. Like Carson, he's not here right now. He has his own series he's working on, and I'm like one of the animators of it.
That's cool.
I did not know.
Wait, you didn't know that?
No.
Sorry.
Sorry, this is so.
Hold on, excuse me.
Her than you.
Pipe down.
Sorry, can you speak up? I just can't hear you.
Guys,
Too many people talking.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say, would you recommend like film TV spaces or indie animation?
When it comes to working after college?
Yeah.
I would say apply to both. Like, don't limit yourself to just one, because at the end of the day, you want to like be able to you want to get your first foot in anywhere, you know? Once you get your first foot in the door for animation, I really do think it gets a bit easier, because you get a bit of credibility of like, oh, you worked on something. You're not just like a random student, you know? I think it's just when you're approaching those two spaces, do it differently. Like, TV and film, I suggest being a bit more niche with like what you do as an artist, you know? Not niche, but like more specialized. TV and film, if you're going to go into that space, be more specialized, you know, be like, oh, I'm specifically an animator, I'm specifically a writer. I specifically do this one thing in the pipeline, I'm really good at it, that's what I want to do. In the animation, I would suggest be a bit more, you can still be specialized, but be a bit more like, oh yeah, like I'm an animator, but like also I understand how rigging works, and like I'm da-da-da. And also understanding the difference in culture. Not even culture, just based on per studio, people have different styles, you know? So I think catering yourself a bit differently for each thing not each thing, but like if it's like a really big place you want to work at, you know, if you're like, I'm applying to Pixar and then I'm going to apply to Glitch. Like I would have 2 different reels for that, because like I think I would just like place things differently in my portfolio for that, because I just know like they're going to be wanting 2 different types of reels. And if it helps you to understand what will work better, find the people that work there and see what their reels look like. And then just try to like have something in that realm, you know, like, oh, this person is a Pixar animator. What does their portfolio reel look like? Okay, this is the level I need to be at. And this is the kind of animation that will work for this studio. And vice versa for Glitch, anywhere else. Yeah. And also, don't be discouraged. Just keep applying. You never, and apply early. Apply on like early if you can.
Don't even worry, because even part-time jobs are hard to find. This is nothing.
Internships are great too, if you're able to get that, because like it's good. It's such a good way to like get your foot in and like network a bit too.
The experience.
Internships, volunteering, great. Go to Lightbox.
So, I kind of thought about this for a while because I kind of got some info from you. Where in your career path did you decide that marketing was like the best choice for you? Like this was the thing that you were set for life for.
I want to say I'm set for life. I really like doing it right now for sure. I think for me, my values when I graduated was one. I was like, I need to get a job. That was my first priority. I was very much like, you know, I graduated with a job. Luckily, like I got contacted before, and that was due to my internship before. So because I interned junior year, somebody from that area, a different studio, they saw my work through that internship, and they contacted me senior year to work for them, because they were like, I think they found me through my internship, whatever, because I had stuff posted from there, and luckily I was one of the lucky few that had a job post grad, so I didn't have to go through that job hunting process. My plan was like, you know, I was like, before that though, I was like, you know, senior year, I do not have time to job hunt. I was like fully in thesis mode. I was like constantly just like animating or lighting. I did not have any extra time to, because I was like, if I do anything other than my thesis right now, I might not pass. It was just a constant like grind. So I told myself, you know, I'm gonna finish thesis, graduate, because this is what I'm going to school for right now. I'm not gonna waste my money. And then I will give myself 3 to maybe 5 months to like solely dedicate myself 100% to art job hunting. I'm gonna make my reel great. I'm gonna apply to everything. I'm gonna go for 3 to 5 months. If nothing landed, I was gonna go back to part-time, because I'm not like a super privileged person. Like I grew up like constantly working. So I was like, yeah, I'm not delusional enough to be like, I can just keep working for my art career and not have to worry about money or rent or living. No. So I was like, I will give myself, but I really wanted to make it work. So I was like, I will give myself 3 to 5 months of really putting 110 in. And if that doesn't work out, I will go back to a part-time job at whatever I need to get that money, and then also still job hunt. So I would just be, you know, grinding of like 100. And I'm not saying you have to necessarily do that to get a job. It's what worked, well, that was my plan. Luckily it worked out better than that, so that was good. And marketing was just something that I think gravitated towards me a bit, because my portfolio pieces tend to be very, a bit more of that like bombasticness. Sometimes like people's portfolio pieces could be very cinematic and like very much like character acting, and I love that stuff. That stuff's great. I want to do more of that eventually, but in my portfolio at the time, I didn't really have a lot of that. Most of my stuff was like super like, actually like kind of glitchy, like stuff you would find at Glitch, where it's kind of like boom, pow, like in your face, and that's not always stuff that appeals to like film studios, because they're like, this is kind of like not very like acting. Yeah, they want something more like acting and that wasn't really what I had. And I think just because of my reel, marketing places like, wow, your stuff is so eye-catching and bold. That's what we want. And I'm like, you're gonna hire me? Okay. And it just so happened marketing aligned with what I like to make. So that worked out for me. But I really like marketing. It wasn't, I think, something that I was like, marketing is what I want to do. It's just like marketing aligned with what I make and I can live off it. I'm gonna do it and I'm very creatively fulfilled. I feel like my values for like a triangle is like creative fulfillment, when it comes to our jobs, creative fulfillment, monetary stability, work-life balance. And it's like, if I'm gonna take a job or pursue something, which part of my triangle is that gonna hit, you know? If something like, if I go for a job and it really fulfills me like creatively, I'm okay with like maybe taking a hit on like the financial part to an extent. I feel like I've taken jobs where it's like, yeah, it's gonna pay me, it's not the most creative thing ever, but it's gonna pay me. And that's what it is. I feel like you have to just balance it sometimes. But marketing right now, I love it, because it aligns with what I like to make. But yeah, but you can always pivot eventually.
So, I'm going to share some insight on my experience
Sure.
with building an art portfolio.
Mhm.
So, around 2022, I actually did some wrangling for their pre-college summer camp.
Oh wow.
So,
I could have been your TA possibly. I didn't do it though. I actually went to my internship, so I was like, bye, sorry.
Oh, nice. But from there, I saw like all of these other students that are bringing students that share their experience with. Like sometimes they say like if you have like the option to do study abroad or study domestic, that can share insights to like doing a semester there that can broaden your art portfolio. Would you say that kind of, builds more creativity if you were to, like to select that option, or like either way, if you can be at the school like for all of your 4 years or more, and still kind of, put in the best forth to it?
Wait, in terms of studying abroad?
Yes.
I think it depends. For me, my answer is different, because it's like, for me, I was always very much like, I'm paying a lot of money to go to school. I was always like, I don't care about anything, but just making sure I can make the most out of my education. I didn't care about going to vacations. I didn't care about going abroad, even though I think it is a great experience. I think it's a great experience to like travel, see more experience, like culture and stuff like that. But for me, when I was at school, my goal was like, I don't care about anything but sitting at my desk and like hunkering down and making sure this thing is done. And yeah, I had a social life and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, my priority was like making sure I got a job out of school. And I do think if you want to go travel abroad and stuff like that, and you think it's gonna help your, education and work experience, that's totally cool too. It's just, it wasn't ever something I cared about, but if you like, it's each individual. For me, did not care. For my sister, she went to like Seoul, Korea. So I was just like, well, I would never do that, that's stupid. And I was like, I want back to my cave.
You're already doing constant attendance, and like you said, you just want to focusing on getting the job post-grad and putting the best forward creativity and liberation to your work. Because for me, I could do it either way, but if the cost of attendance is outweighing more than my portfolio, I feel like, just hunkering down is still the best option to choose.
Do you mean like studying abroad as in like just going to like a different program out of the US?
In that connotation, yeah. Like
I think
studying abroad for a semester, and then
here's a scenario where I think studying abroad would be super beneficial. I think studying abroad with a goal is like
it's all kind of chaotic at the moment. It just recently happened.
That's unfortunate. I know they had that AI thing recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't read that into it though. I think that might have been not the faculty, that might have been a student, but I don't know. It was unfortunate to hear about.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you go to Koblenz, I can't pronounce it. Have fun if you end up going. Yeah, it's a great school. Mhm. Any other questions, feelings, anything?
Well, they've been begging me to show you the glitch Super Pomni.
So he's been working on this for the past few weeks.
Oh, cool.
I mean, well, not like straight. Like I had to take breaks because of life stuff. But this started
No,
off.
artists don't take breaks. You work till you die.
He worked to.
All right, but this started off as a demo on how to create. Let me delete this layer real quick. Erase. Leaving only. Oh, oops. No, nothing. Okay, so this started off as a demo for how to do animatic that I did a couple weeks ago, where it's just a simple like one of Pomni yawning and walking off screen, and then so I just upon learning of your soon arrival, I started working on actually animating it.
Fun.
Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to complete it.
All animation, right?
Yeah, but I was actually penciling away as you were talking, but there are several moments where I wound up accidentally dotting the outline when coloring,
Oh,
so
funny.
stuff like this happens, and then we get like the classic smear frame creepypastas.
Yeah, there's a bunch of those in production, I'm sure.
Yeah, and you mentioned Five Nights at Freddy's, and I was like FNAF gameplay, be like.
That's so cool though.
So like,
Very cool.
so yeah, but this is the animation software that I use.
Oh, super cool.
It's and this is a test animation for the show that I'm currently working on. Carson's not here right now, so he
Nice
just.
walk cycle.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. I think you might like Rough Animator. It's pretty good. It's on iPad too.
Okay, all right. It's the name of the app. I thought you meant like.
Yeah, it's also a one-time purchase, so it's good.
Okay. All right, I'll keep that in mind.
That's really cool though. Yeah.
Anything I can do it.
Yay. I believe you.
Okay.
I already
Anything
believe
else?
in you since the beginning.
Okay. Any last minute questions or?
I guess I'm kind of curious about the
8:33.
When I saw the murder drones Animanies,
Animanies?
I'm sorry?
Animanies?
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. When I saw that you presented those, so do you like send those designs to the merchandise team and that's how they create those? I'm a little confused on how that works.
No, so the merch designs like all this stuff. That's their side of things. Marketing promotes it. So they give me everything. So they're like, hey, here's the new Animanies we're designing. It hasn't released yet, but we want to do a trailer stuff. Well, they will give it to production. Production gives it to me. But yeah, it's like they have the product and then we promote it. So I don't design it. I just see what they have. I'm like, okay, cool. Work off that.
But do they also base it off of the rough sketches and designs that you do?
No, those are just for boarding purposes. Those are for like shorts or whatever. That's more for like animation, like when we start like making the trailer or the teaser and stuff like that. But everything should be on model to the original merch stuff anyway.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, they have a designer for the merch team, but that's like early on in that. So yeah, it's like a whole new pipeline.
Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah, of course. Anything else? I'm super curious though. Are you guys hoping to work in 3D or 2D?
I want to do traditional, so 2D.
2D, but I'm teaching myself 3D, so I'm not open to it.
Do you guys want to work in like what industry? It's like a lot, like crazy right now, you know?
I'm not too sure.
No, like TV, film.
I want to
commercial.
It's fine, but I mainly want to try independent.
Huh?
Either way, it's fine, but I mainly want to try like freelancing and independent stuff.
For sure.
I want to try and break into just films.
Yeah, for sure.
I want my own animated series and movies.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm getting a bit more towards that theme, but like basically like.
Yeah,
Well, I feel
I want to move into like interactive arts. Like, it's a whole multifaceted of
like VR stuff.
yeah, VR, AR, but also with animation and with technical 3D
Oh.
software.
That's really cool. Is there like a, is that like you know like the FNAF game they had where it's like a VR one?
Help
Oh.
Yeah, help wanted.
No. The one before that.
Oh, AR
Special
special
delivery,
Oh,
that's
AR.
AR.
Is that like kind of what you're interested in?
It's the mobile game.
That was
Yeah,
interesting, the way they did it.
Yeah.
They did shut it down though, which is kind of sad.
I didn't play it, I just heard about it because I was
I
like,
played it
huh, new
once.
studio.
Yeah.
I did play it once or twice, but I thought it was pretty fun, and I wish I
Yeah.
could go back to it.
Yeah, I think the fans liked it.
I mean, I can't tell, I'm too pussy to play FNAF.
Just watch Let's Plays. That's like the proxy way to consume FNAF. Yeah.
I did play Into the Pit not too long ago. It was really good.
I think I watched something for that. Yeah, it was fun. Good background stuff while I work. Yeah, I hope you like.
My favorite Let's Play channel is the SGB's playthrough of FNAF. It's hilarious.
I wish I
What,
was.
Super Gaming Brothers 2?
Oh yeah, you watched it?
Oh my god!
Yes.
Tolerate jump scares.
Dude, Some Call Me Johnny's the best, man. Super underrated.
I like watching mainly a bunch of montages of Super Gaming Brothers. I also like watching. Have you ever heard of the Runaway Guys?
No, I can't. I cut her off. What did you say?
No, that
I'm
was.
very sorry. I'm sorry.
I literally wasn't gonna say anything. I was just like, Let's Play. Do your little talks. It's all good.
Do you want to finish up, or do you want to?
Oh no, I mean I was just gonna. Yeah, my favorite compilation from the SGBs is the Slicer. Anything involving Metropolis Zone.
One of my favorite moments was one of the guys is singing Master of Puppets in Toad's voice during that one.
Wait, have you seen Elliot Dies in World
Can I
1-1?
finish on this? If we're done?
Yeah, you can.
Sure.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wait, have you seen it?
I don't think so. I should see it.
Oh my god, it's a classic. I'll show you after.
With the guest speaker.
Sure.
I'm sorry?
I guess it's the
Sorry.
I think that's all.
Yeah, I guess I could